Mass extinctions. Animals vanishing daily. Why it matters. Every 60 seconds, another species vanishes forever. These aren't just numbers, it's reality, and it could change everything. What makes this mass extinction different, and why should you care? We live in incredible times. But behind our achievements lies a scary truth. Right now, as you watch, the world is losing irreplaceable treasures. Nature is crying out, but are we listening? Scientists are warning we may be at or even in the sixth mass extinction in Earth's history. What does that mean? Think dinosaurs. Their reign ended suddenly, catastrophically. Over hundreds of millions of years, our planet has seen 5 global die-offs. Each time, up to 75% of all species disappeared. But this extinction unfolding now is different. And the main reason? It's us. Imagine, species are vanishing 100, even 1,000 times faster than naturally. This isn't a slow decline, it's a collapse. In the last 50 years alone, wild animal populations have shrunk by 69% on average. Nearly 1 million plant and animal species face extinction. These aren't just stats. These are entire ecosystems crumbling before our eyes. This isn't hyperbole. We're talking about insects that pollinate our crops, fish that feed millions, forests that produce the air we breathe. When one species goes, a chain reaction starts. It's like pulling a brick from a building's foundation. Sooner or later, it will all fall down. And here's the scariest part. Past extinctions were caused by natural disasters, asteroids, volcanoes, climate shifts. This time, the culprit is clear. It's our actions: deforestation, ocean pollution, climate change, poaching. We're creating this disaster, and everyone will feel the consequences. But this is just the beginning. It gets even more interesting. 5 times Earth has been on the brink, losing almost all life. But what if I told you those past apocalypses, asteroids, volcanoes, haven't prepared us for the catastrophe we've created ourselves? Earth is a planet with an incredible history, full of ups and downs. But one thing has repeated 5 times, changing the planet beyond recognition: mass extinctions. This isn't just a few species disappearing. These are global catastrophes that wiped out up to 96% of all life. The first happened 443 million years ago. An ice age gripped the planet. Massive glaciers froze continents, sea levels plummeted, and almost 85% of marine species couldn't survive. Imagine, oceans teeming with life turned into icy wastelands. Then, around 359 million years ago, came the Devonian extinction. Scientists still debate the cause, but one theory points to booming plant life on land. This changed the atmosphere and oceans, starving marine life of oxygen. Again, huge losses, especially among reef ecosystems. But the worst was 252 million years ago, the Permian-Triassic extinction, the Great Dying. 96% of marine species and 70% of land vertebrates perished. Earth became a hellscape. Massive volcanic eruptions in Siberia spewed so many gases into the atmosphere, the planet suffocated. Temperatures soared, oceans acidified, life barely clung on. It was the closest we came to total biological collapse. The fourth extinction, the Triassic-Jurassic, 201 million years ago, also linked to volcanoes and climate change. It cleared the way for the dinosaurs to dominate the planet. And, of course, the fifth, the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction, 66 million years ago. Yes, the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. A giant asteroid hit Earth, causing tsunamis, earthquakes, fires, and a global winter. It was the end of one era and the start of another. Each time, the planet recovered, but it took millions of years. And each time, the cause was natural forces beyond life's control. Asteroids, volcanoes, ice ages. Sounds scary, right? But there's one key difference between those disasters and what's happening now. Today, we're not waiting for an asteroid. We are the asteroid, and that's a lot scarier. We're not just causing extinctions, we're the planet's top predator. In the last 50 years alone, we've destroyed habitats that supported almost 70% of wild animals. And that's just the beginning of our silent crimes leading the world towards disaster. We've talked about past disasters hitting Earth from space or its depths. Now, let's look at our role. Who are these silent killers wiping species off the map? The answer is simple and terrifying. It's us, our actions. And the biggest is habitat destruction. Imagine a rainforest, home to millions of species, a biodiversity paradise. But every year, we clear an area the size of Belgium for palm oil plantations, cattle ranching, or just timber. Orangutans lose their homes and their future. Tigers, elephants, countless insects, all are running out of options. We build cities, roads, factories, taking up more and more space. Animals have nowhere to go. They're trapped, their world shrinking to nothing. Or take climate change. We pump tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. The planet warms, ice melts, sea levels rise. Polar bears in the Arctic starve because their hunting grounds, the ice, are disappearing. Coral reefs, underwater cities, bleach and die due to ocean warming. Millions of marine creatures depend on these reefs. When they die, so do those who depend on them. Pollution is another scourge. Plastic in the oceans isn't just trash, it's a death trap. Sea turtles mistake bags for jellyfish, eat them, and starve to death. Whales swallow tons of microplastics. Chemicals from our factories and farms run into rivers and soil, poisoning everything. Birds, fish, small mammals, they accumulate these poisons, leading to disease and extinction. And don't forget poaching. Rhino horn, ivory, tiger skin, these trophies fetch huge sums on the black market. Entire animal populations are wiped out for profit. We're talking about the last survivors, brutally killed. This isn't hunting, it's genocide. Finally, invasive species. We humans move around the planet, and with us come plants and animals. Rats, cats, snakes, introduced to islands, devastate native species that have no defenses against new predators. It's like unleashing a predator into a garden where the birds have never seen danger. These 5 factors, habitat destruction, climate change, pollution, poaching, and invasive species, are our silent killers. They act invisibly, but their destructive power is immense, and they won't stop on their own. These aren't just nature problems, they're problems we created, and they affect us too. When zoologists last saw Sudan, the Northern White Rhino, they knew the world was losing not just an animal, but an entire era. But what happened to other species soon after shocked even seasoned experts. And these stories will change how you see life on Earth forever. We know who these silent killers are, but behind every number, every fact, there's a story. The story of a species that once thrived, now gone forever. This isn't just statistics, it's the face of tragedy. Remember Sudan. He was the last male Northern White Rhino. When he died in 2018, it wasn't just the end of an animal's life. It was the end of a subspecies that had existed for millions of years. His death was like closing the last page of an ancient book. We knew it was coming, but could do almost nothing. Poaching had reduced their numbers to a critical low. Hope now lies only in technology, but it won't be Sudan. It won't be the wild lineage. Then there's the golden toad, a bright, shimmering creature, a living jewel of the cloud forests of Costa Rica. But in the late 1980s, it simply vanished. No one has seen it since 1989. The reason? Climate change, which dried up its habitat, and a deadly fungus spread by global warming. An entire species living in one tiny corner of the world disappeared without a trace, like it never existed. It was so fast, so unexpected. Another heartbreak, the Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine, a unique marsupial predator, looked like a dog with stripes. The last known thylacine, named Benjamin, died in Hobart Zoo in 1936. His species was hunted to extinction by humans. Farmers considered it a threat to livestock. The government even paid a bounty for every thylacine killed. We hunted them to oblivion. The last footage of Benjamin, pacing awkwardly in his enclosure, is a bitter reminder. We signed the death warrant for this amazing animal. Or the story of Steller's sea cow, a huge, gentle marine mammal, lived in the cold waters of the Bering Sea. It was discovered in 1741, and just 27 years later, by 1768, it was completely extinct. Just 27 years. European sailors and hunters found it easy prey. It was slow. It wasn't afraid of humans. Its meat was delicious. This is an example of how quickly human greed can wipe out an entire species. These stories aren't just sad facts from textbooks. They're the planet's cry for help. Each extinction is an irreplaceable loss for the world. We're not just losing animals, we're losing unique lines of evolution. They'll never come back. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Thousands of other species, less well known, are vanishing every day. But why is this so important for us humans? How does this affect our own lives? Over the last 50 years, we've lost 70% of wild animals. These aren't just numbers in reports. It's a catastrophe that's already hitting your plate, the air you breathe, and the water you drink. If we don't understand the domino effect, the price will be terrible. We've seen species disappear. We know who's to blame. But why should we care? What does a golden toad or Tasmanian tiger matter to us? Here's where it gets scary. Nature is a vast, complex system where everything is connected. Imagine a domino effect. Remove one element and the whole thing starts to collapse. Take bees. Their numbers are plummeting. So what, you might think? But bees are key pollinators. They're responsible for pollinating a third of all the food we eat. Fruits, vegetables, nuts. No bees, no harvest. It's not science fiction. It's a real threat to our food security. The price of losing these tiny workers will be astronomical. We will simply lose food. What about forests? Rainforests are often called the lungs of the planet. They absorb carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. When we cut them down, we're not just destroying the homes of thousands of species. We're disrupting the Earth's climate balance. More carbon dioxide in the atmosphere means stronger global warming. This leads to extreme weather events, droughts, floods, hurricanes. These catastrophes are already destroying cities, wiping out crops and forcing millions of people to flee their homes. Or the oceans. Coral reefs aren't just beautiful underwater gardens. They're nurseries for many fish species, the foundation of the entire marine food chain. When corals die due to warming and acidification, fish disappear. And for billions of people, fish is a primary source of protein. Loss of biodiversity in the ocean directly impacts the average person's dinner table. Think about medicines. Many are based on substances found in plants and animals. In every disappearing forest, in every dying reef, there might be plants or microorganisms that could give us a cure for cancer or a new pandemic. We're destroying potential lifesavers without even discovering them. It's like burning a library without reading a single book. Or consider water. Healthy ecosystems like wetlands and forests naturally filter water, making it clean and safe to drink. When these systems are destroyed, the water becomes polluted. We spend huge amounts of money cleaning it, or worse, we get sick. This isn't happening somewhere far away. It's happening here and now. It affects the quality of the air we breathe. The water we drink, the food we eat, our health and economy. When a species disappears, it's not just a tragedy for nature. It's a direct reduction of our own well-being, our security, and our future. We're part of this system, and when the system is sick, so are we. It seems despairing when you think about the losses. But what if I told you the story isn't over? We have one last, fragile chance to change course. And when you find out what you can do to stop this catastrophe, a real hope will ignite within you. We've painted a bleak picture, seen species disappear, ecosystems collapse, and how it directly affects our lives. Seems like all is lost, right? That we're doomed? But it's not true. The story isn't finished. We have one last, fragile chance to change everything. And that chance is in our hands, in our choices. First, there are global efforts. Scientists, conservation organizations, governments around the world are already working. They're creating vast reserves, restoring forests, fighting poaching. There are amazing projects to bring back species that were on the brink. This requires huge resources, but the results are there. Look, mountain gorilla numbers in Rwanda are growing thanks to strict protection measures. Or the restoration of the European bison population. This proves change is possible. But it's not just about the big players. Your actions matter too. Each of us can be part of the solution. The simplest thing, think about what you consume every day. Plastic is a huge problem, choking our planet. Try to use fewer disposable items. Choose reusable bags, water bottles. It's a small step, but if millions of people do it, the effect will be enormous. Another point, food. Meat production, especially beef, requires vast resources. It means clearing forests for pasture, huge greenhouse gas emissions. Try to reduce your meat consumption, even just one day a week. It will help the planet and your health too, by the way. Energy. We all use electricity. Turn off the lights when you leave a room. Unplug appliances when they're not in use. Use energy-efficient appliances when you buy new ones. It seems like nothing, but every unit of energy saved reduces the burden on our planet. And most importantly, information. Tell your friends, family, colleagues, share this video. Knowledge is power. The more people understand the gravity of the situation, the more likely we are to change something. Support organizations that protect nature if you have the opportunity. Even a small donation matters. Don't think one person can't make a difference. It's not true. Every decision we make, every choice matters. We've already seen how human actions have led us to this precipice, to the Sixth Mass Extinction. But we can pull ourselves back from the brink. The future of the planet, the future of our children, depends on what we do today, right now. It's our last chance. What will you choose? We've just traced how eras change and disappear. But there are more stories ahead that could flip your perspective. To catch the next chapters of these dramatic shifts and stay tuned to what truly matters, subscribe to Epic Echoes and hit the like button, because what we learn next could change everything.